Look around your room right now. Your TV, your couch, those clothes with the tag still on them. Every single object you see is quietly charging you a monthly subscription fee. Not on your credit card, not on any bank statement. A hidden invoice you never agreed to that gets renewed every single month without your knowledge. That's the second bill. And for most households, it's the biggest financial leak they've never calculated. By the time this is over, you'll have the exact number your possessions are billing you. Every month. Right now. Here's the setup. Everything you own sent you two invoices. The first one was the price tag. You paid it, you moved on. The second invoice never stopped. It shows up every month in 4 line items, and not one of them appears on any statement you actually receive. Storage, maintenance, mental energy, opportunity cost. Most people vaguely acknowledge the first two and never do the math. The fourth sounds theoretical until you see the number. But the third one, mental energy, is the line item that quietly explains why someone earning $46,000 has 18 months of savings, and someone earning $90,000 is 2 paychecks from a crisis. We'll get there. Line item 1, storage. Every object you own occupies space. Space costs money. You pay for it every month in rent or mortgage. That means every unused item in your home is charging you rent. Here's how to calculate it. Take your monthly rent or mortgage payment. Divide by the total square footage of your home. That gives you your cost per square foot. Now estimate how many square feet your unused possessions occupy. The spare bedroom turned storage room, the jammed closet, the garage corner, the chair in the bedroom that hasn't been sat in since 2022. Multiply. The average U.S. apartment costs between $1.40 and $2.80 per square foot per month. A single walk-in closet, 40 square feet, full of clothes worn once and forgotten is charging you $56 to $112 every month. Not for the clothes, for the space the clothes are renting from you. Take 30 seconds right now. Think of the 3 largest concentrations of unused possessions in your home. Estimate their square footage. Multiply by your cost per square foot. Write that number down. That's line item 1. Line item 2. Maintenance. Every physical object degrades, and you pay for that degradation even when you're barely using the thing. This isn't just repairs. It's the cleaning products purchased to clean things that don't need that much cleaning. The insurance on the equipment sitting in the garage. The time spent organizing, reorganizing, and mentally managing inventory. Time that has a real dollar value. A 2022 consumer research study found that the average U.S. household spends $1,175 per year maintaining possessions they report using less than once a month. Not monthly, less than once a month. Over $1,100 going toward things they almost never touch. Add your maintenance estimate to the number from line item 1. Line item 3. Mental energy. Here's the one nobody calculates. And it's the most expensive line item on the second bill for most people. In 2011, Princeton University neuroscientists published a study on visual clutter and cognitive performance. The finding was precise. Physical objects in your environment that don't have an immediate purpose directly compete for your attention at a neurological level. Not as a metaphor, literally. Every object your eye lands on that doesn't belong sends a low-level signal your brain has to process. Your prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for decision-making, impulse control, and financial planning, has a finite bandwidth. Clutter consumes it. Quietly. Continuously. Every hour you're home. UCLA researchers followed 32 Los Angeles families and measured cortisol levels throughout the day. Cortisol is your primary stress hormone. The result was one of the most consistent findings in the study. Cortisol spiked measurably every time participants entered high-density object environments. Not slightly, measurably. The more stuff in the room, the higher the stress response. Here's where the math gets personal. When your cognitive overhead is elevated, when your environment is constantly sending low-level demands to your brain, your decision quality degrades. Not dramatically, not obviously, subtly. You skip the budget review because your desk is buried. You make an impulse purchase to relieve an overwhelm you can't name. You don't have the mental sharpness to notice a fee that shouldn't be there, negotiate a bill down, or resist a subscription you keep meaning to cancel. Researchers don't have a clean dollar figure for this because it's hard to isolate in studies. But the directional finding is consistent across dozens of papers. Higher physical clutter correlates with lower decision quality. And in personal finance, decision quality compounds. the same way interest does. The person at $46,000 with a clear environment makes sharper financial decisions than the person at $90,000 surrounded by objects they never use. Their cognitive overhead is lower. Their prefrontal cortex has more bandwidth. They save more not primarily because they earn more, but because their environment lets them think more clearly. This is the line item that explains the gap, and there is no monthly statement for it. Line item 4, opportunity cost. The last line item is the multiplier on everything above. Every dollar sitting in a depreciating possession is a dollar that isn't compounding. That $400 treadmill used 8 times before it became a clothes rack. It isn't just costing you storage, it's costing you the $1,550 it would have become over 20 years at a conservative 7% annual return. That $800 camera used for one birthday before living in a drawer? $3,100. Compounded? Across a typical U.S. household, averaging the value of objects reported as rarely used in consumer surveys, the opportunity cost of stagnant possessions runs between $40,000 and $70,000 over a 20-year window. Not the purchase price. The compounded alternative. Your second bill number. Do this tonight. Step 1. The storage audit. List the 3 largest concentrations of unused possessions in your home. Estimate total square footage. Multiply by your monthly cost per square foot. That's line item 1. Step 2. Maintenance scan. Think of 3 possessions you haven't used in 90 days. Estimate what you spend annually on upkeep, insurance, or cleaning related to those items. Add it to the total. Step 3. Cognitive inventory. Walk through your home and count the objects that generate friction. Things you need to move, organize, deal with, or that register as, I should do something about that. You can't put an exact dollar value on each one, but the research says every cluster of them is drawing from the same finite budget your financial decisions depend on. Step 4. Add the storage cost and the maintenance estimate. That's your visible second bill. The real number, once cognitive load and opportunity cost enter the equation, is higher, but the visible number is enough to make the next step obvious. You now have the 4 line items. Most people stop here. They see the number, feel briefly uncomfortable, and do nothing. The ones who act on it ask the next question. Now that I know what my current possessions are costing me, how do I decide what to buy next? Because the goal isn't to own nothing. It's to own things that actually work for you instead of against you. That calculation has a name, and it completely changes how you evaluate every purchase you've ever called a good deal. I've done a full video on it. Link is here. Drop your second bill number in the comments. I'll be reading every one. And if this landed differently than what you usually hear about money, that's what this channel is for. Subscribe. 1 concept per week. No courses, no sponsors, just the math.